What is up, everybody? Happy Wednesday. It is 2:40 on Wednesday, December 21st. I am here to talk about, I'm getting notes up here. I'm ready to talk about um, mental and emotional stress and why a lot of people, I'm all about nutrition, obviously, but why a lot of people see themselves either gaining weight or see themselves not losing weight that they've gained from years past. And I hate to tell you all, well, not hate to tell you all, because I think it's a very important subject that's not really talked about at all. Um, I see it every day. And the more and more that I do therapies and the more and more that I coach on mental discipline and, letting go of things, the more I see people holding on to emotional and mental stress. And that could be from your past, it could be from your, you know, past experiences, past traumas that have happened to you that you just refuse to let go of. And that will ultimately cause you to get stressed out. And most people carry a lot of weight in their gut because that's where, that's the first place that gets very acidic. So, since I started working with the fascial system and opening up people in and their fascial system over the past like 8 months or 9 months or so, um, I have seen a lot of people shifting their paradigm, shifting their mental state, shifting their threat response to things, how threatened they feel. They don't feel as threatened. Shifting, they're having a lot of emotional breakdowns, which always leads to a breakthrough. Everyone always thinks that like crying is a bad thing. In the moment, it might feel like that because you have to go through some pain, but um, the emotional and mental breakdown that you have from a fascial thing, or even just from being quiet for a little bit, it is leaps and bounds of what it can do for you, right? So I've seen tons of breakdown, which leads to breakthrough. Um, I see people loving themselves deeper. I see people having more of a self respect and are open hearted. I can even tell you, I've been getting treated more regularly myself. And I have actually noticed that my heart is opening on a deeper level, that I'm allowing things into my life that I never thought I would. And it's because I'm just letting go and I'm feeling things and I'm not numbing myself to life anymore. Um, and I'm just loving others. My ability to love others deeper is easier, and my compassion towards others is easier. I will also tell you that my when I wake up in the morning, my purpose feels deeper, um, and I just feel like I'm seeing life changing, not only in my own world but in client in my clientele world. So I think a lot of people think that everything is about nutrition and sleep and exercise. And like, while all that's great, and those are all, of course, like huge aspects to health, um, I think people miss the emotional and mental aspect of a lot of trainers, especially, miss the emotional and mental aspect of what true health is. A lot of people try to label things, or they try to say, "Oh, this is your problem. You have this," and then people go into this like stress place of, "Oh, I have a lower back problem, so I have to focus on my lower back," or, "Oh, I have I'm addicted to food, or I have an obsession with food," or whatever. And then the focus is that, and then people get stressed about that, right? So I think when you start, you are what you focus on. And that's something that I've actually been really playing with recently a lot. That I'm just trying to like let my mind not think so much, and think obviously when it's necessary. But a lot of stuff, there are places to be logical and realistic, but a lot of things are very emotional, and that you need to feel and you need to let go to grow. And I think a lot of people, and I don't mean this in a mean way, I mean it in a I hope this inspires you way. I think a lot of people work for the sake of working, but they don't work with a purpose, right? Like, if you Like, for example, I don't feel like what I do is work. I actually love everything that I do. Are some days harder than others? Yes. Do some are I don't even want to say that. No, because everyone I feel like I give meaning to people every single day. So, but are some days harder than others? Absolutely. But I always have a purpose and I feel that purpose deep down. So I feel like people who, unfortunately, when you were in like a 9 to 5, or when you're in something that you kind of just did because you felt like you had to, that's not purpose driven. And it's not something that's going to keep that fire under your belly and keep you moving and keep you going forward. And a lot of people kind of just get lazy and they get a little resentful of other people or their life because they don't really want to be doing what they're doing, but they don't know how to let go of that and deal with that and move on. Um, and I think God works personally in very interesting ways and miraculous ways when you let Him. And I think a lot of people, again, this goes back to like the numbing aspect. I think a lot of people numb themselves because they don't want to either acknowledge that they're not happy or acknowledge that what they're doing isn't really what they should be doing. And God's trying to lead them somewhere else, but they're so resistant to it because they're afraid of what could happen. And almost always, I can tell you, like I've left, and I know it's not for everybody, but every time I have left a job with no backup, God has always put me in, and this is before I even knew God, right? God has always put me in the place that I needed to be for what needed to happen next in my life. For example, I worked for Starbucks for 6 years. And then I was just like, I had moved to Florida because I wanted to work for Disney. And I had gotten a call that I was like getting ready to work there, but hadn't yet. And then I had been working for Starbucks since I had like, from the time I lived in PA, and then I moved down and I still had that job. So I worked at Starbucks as like a survival job, right? But I like got really tired of surviving and not living my life. So I quit. And literally within a week, not joking, within a week, I got the job at Disney and had the time of my life. I actually loved my life at that point. Um, and then obviously things changed in my life with my dad passing away, and I moved back home, and that kind of put me into this new purpose that I'm in right now, and I love it. And I used to wake up every day, even like recently, I used to wake up just like dragging or whatever, and I kind of hit this wall where I was like, why do I always wake up like dragging? That's not good. And it was because my mindset was, I was not moving past the mindset of where I used to be, which was this like mundane, like go through the motion, blah, 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 blah. Now I wake up like, I'm excited to learn. I'm excited to experience what clients are bringing into the door. I'm excited because that inevitably helps me grow. I'm excited to help somebody through whatever they're going through, because we all have stuff that we need help with. And I know that I have a gift to help people in several capacities. But my point is, like, there's a lot of emotional things that happened in my life too that I'm sure have happened in your life, right? So the more that you can push past and let go of emotional and mental trauma and stressors, that's where a lot of people hold on to weight. And I don't think that people give that literally enough weight. They don't give that enough of a pull in their health journey, right? And I got to tell you, the media did a number on this. The term weight loss is horrifying. Why? Because it makes you focus on your weight as opposed to making you focus on true health and on the root problem of why you're feeling the way you're feeling. Everyone wants to, this is why I don't believe in like saying, oh, you have this problem, or oh, you have this problem, because guess what? Your body is very complex. So if somebody tells you, oh, you have this for sure, I personally would be very apprehensive to continue with that person. The reason why is because I have learned that the body is again, it's a global system in terms of like, just because you have back pain doesn't mean it's your lower back. Just because you have a gut doesn't mean it's your gut. It could mean that you have a candida problem or a heavy metal problem or there's a lot of things that could be happening there. I think people are just so cut and dry to, this is the problem, fix it. And my initial thought is, why do you have that problem? I ask questions. Why do you have the problem? What started it? What have you been doing on a daily basis? Why are you there? Why do you continue to be there? And then I go into more of a like history of, okay, where have you been? Because if I just say, oh yeah, I feel that, I can feel that, that's, you just touch, or someone touches, whatever, that's great, but it's not handling everything. And almost always, I hate to say it, but people that do that put you into a lot of fear, because then you go, oh my gosh, you go into this panic mode of, that's what I have. And it's because everyone wants to label it. Everyone wants to put the word on it so that they can get their mind around it logically. And I hate to say this, you guys, it's like super hard, but not everything is logical. Not everything is a simple solution. Some of the stuff is like decades of your life that you pushed down all this emotion and stress, and you continue to pack on that weight because you're just continuing to pack on the stress, and you're overextended or you're overworked or whatever, and you're not living your purpose. So even if you are working, and you like, I'm working and I work a lot, but I love what I do, so to me it's not stressful, I enjoy it, right? But when you're working in a job that you're not really like feeling it, or you're just kind of going through the motions to make some money, that's something to consider, of like, maybe that's not what you're meant to do. And I'm not saying like quit your job, but I am saying to look deeper and to look at that, because that's a big part of weight gain, is you're not happy, and people don't think about that stuff, because they don't want to confront that. And I think that's why for a lot of people, I struggle a lot with people who can't address the mental and emotional capacity of things, because that's really where a lot of weight gain comes from. That's really where a lot of bad bacterial overgrowth comes from. That's how acidity happens. That's how pain happens. That's how a lot of things occur. And when you start to kind of get into and I don't mean to say positive, like cliche positive, but when you start to think better, and then that's another aspect of health too, is like, if all the time you're thinking like negative thoughts, self-deprecating, and constantly in this place of, my life sucks, I'm never going to lose this weight, I'm never going to be financially abundant, I'm never going to have a good life, all these negative things, you're going to be negative, and your body's going to be negative, and your body's going to hate you. That's just how it works. That's because the body feels all of that stuff. So if I can inspire you today, it would be a couple of things. One, check your inner thoughts. Check how you talk to yourself. We're not perfect. I'm certainly not perfect. I even last night was like up, couldn't sleep. And it's because my mind was just racing. And I finally had to go, Matt, think a positive thought. One positive thought. And then that one positive thought turned into two positive thoughts, turned into 3, 4, 5, right? And my body started to calm down, which really, that's another reason why I'm making this video, is because it really does affect your entire body, just how you think, right? So I have clients sometimes that will come in, and I'll feel their stress, and I'm like, we're not working out today. But I have to work out. We're not working out today. You need to calm down. We'll do some breathing. And if by the halfway through the session, their body does calm down and gets into a good space, sure, we'll do some movement, and that's great. But I think a lot of people have this notion that like, if they don't exercise, then they're not doing enough. Or if they don't exercise, they've failed. If they don't exercise, they're going to gain a ton of weight. And that's just not true. We're learning way too much about the body and all the systems of the body, that it's not just simple of, exercise and eat. It's not that simple anymore. You need to have an open body. You need to have a free body, free mind, a good spirit. all of these things matter, right? Like you look at the most successful, the most happy people, and they don't have much stress in their life because they don't overthink things. They're not quick to being angry. They're mentally well. They take responsibility and accountability for their life, and they also eat very well. And most of these people don't live in fear, and they don't complain, they don't do all these things that a lot of people do now, right? They don't compare themselves to other people, which we're all working on, and I get that. But my point is that there are so many ways to come out of this. Start with your thoughts. Start with how you're speaking to yourself, right? If you start thinking negative, try to remind yourself to stop, throw the wrench in, and try to stop the negative self-talk and go right back into, nope, I'm not going to think like that because that's not good and it's not helping me, right? Focus on the good side of things. Focus on the health, not on the weight loss. Don't focus on the negative. Focus on that positive side of, I did everything I could today, right? Focus on the right thing. When you focus on the right thing, the right things come to you. When you focus on the wrong thing, it's like debt. When you focus on the wrong thing, you're focusing on the debt. You're focusing on the lack. You're focusing on, I don't have enough, I'm in debt, and it's like depressing. When you start focusing on, I make money, I can make more money, I love what I do, I love to, like you, and then you start to create and you start to do things that inspire you and make you feel fulfilled and all that. That's what you should be after. So check your mental and emotional stress today. Check where your mind is at. Check what your thoughts are doing. Let go. If you feel like you need someone to help you let go, please reach out to me or anybody else around you that can help you kind of let go of this stress, because it's not healthy and it's not helping you or serving you. Be well. I will talk to you all soon, and have a great rest of your Wednesday.